Thank you, Emily. Our next speaker is Mr. Huffman.
He's got to turn off her mic.
Emily, turn your mic off. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You really want me to follow those last two speakers? My goodness. Let's face it, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a long day, and it's been a long subject, and we've heard all of you people any number of times. This is not, unfortunately, a discussion on police brutality. The issue before us concerns whether we need to decriminalize or ask our state representatives to do so. And to continue the discussion. That's what's before us. I'm very sorry, as I've indicated before on the other example that Ms. Naioli Beeson pointed out previously, when that was brought to our attention about a year or so ago. And I certainly can do nothing more but empathize with the situation that faced your family when the police came. Under any circumstances, that isn't what we're here for tonight. I'm sorry, it just isn't. I think I've made my position pretty clear in the newspaper. Most of you know where I stand on this. Under no circumstances will I support Mr. Greenwell's resolution as it's written. Under every circumstances, he's missing one step. And no matter how angry he gets, or whatever he threatens, and Kelly, please don't threaten, to leave. I mean, we disagree on a number of occasions, and Lord in heaven, I certainly have disagreed with a number of things my colleagues said, but I ain't walking. Under any circumstances, he's missing one step here. He's missing the step that you people, as voters of this particular constituency on this island, deserve to weigh in on this subject. And I'm not going to sit here and try to pontificate or justify my comments or my opinions in front of you. Now, I've already been handed, of course, Mr. Christie's handed us a survey that indicates on medical marijuana. Different subject. Thank you, Mr. Christie, for the information. I'm talking about proceeding further with the decriminalization of marijuana on this island. I want to hear what the people have to say. I think it's up to you, the people of this island, to determine this issue. This is a very emotional issue. It's against state and federal law at the moment. It's not something like whether you understand fully the impact fees, or even a plastic bag reduction bill, or even the budget of this island. This isn't the same thing. And yes, I do disagree with the statement in the paper, which seemed to indicate, if it was quoted correctly, as far as people, the voters of this island, being illiterate. I hope Mr. Greenwell really didn't mean it quite that way, because I take exception to that. I'm here representing my district, and I'm here, I think, representing, when we come before an issue like this, representing each and every one of you. And believe it or not, on an issue like this, I think you can offer some valuable advice and suggestions, one way or another, regardless of what my position is. But I want to see that at the ballot somewhere. Now, I've proposed and have attempted to propose through our council a resolution that places this on the ballot in November of 2010. A clear issue, a clear statement, a question that can be not obscure, something that's very clear. There have been some questions that whether we can do that legally or not, and the county clerk's office is examining that issue further. But until I hear what the people of this island wish on this issue, I will vote against any further resolutions or ordinances regarding this particular subject. Now, also make one thing clear. There has been some misperception, I think, on the part of the public, perhaps with no one in this room, but perhaps with others, that by the passage of this type of a resolution, this is a resolution, this is not a bill or an ordinance, don't forget, that somehow we're changing state or federal law. We're not doing anything of the kind. This council can't do that. But if I'm a state representative, doggone it, and I have this particular issue plopped in my hopper to debate at the state legislative session, boy, I'd sure like to know what the people of this island think first before I move ahead. And that's what I'm suggesting. So, under any circumstances, I will vote against Mr. Greenwell's resolution on this basis. And under no circumstances do I wish to see Mr. Greenwell abandon the council. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more? Mr. Greenwell, you had your light on, but I'm going to go to Ms. Ford because she hasn't yet spoken, if you don't mind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Kelly, for letting me speak. I would like to call Mr. Ishida forward, and I apologize because he's not the prosecuting attorney, but I need to get an opinion. And I'd ask the chair for just a little latitude. I know what the subject matter is on this thing. I am going to deviate slightly.
Granted.
Thank you.
I actually was a prosecutor for 13 years.
Very good. That's right.
And my former boss is right back there. Charlene, she was a great boss.
Okay. Mr. Ishida, you've heard the testimony from the Tatum family of the sexual assault by an officer on members of the family. I'm sorry. I can't pull this thing any closer. Is this better? Okay, thank you. You heard the testimony of the Tatum family on the sexual assault of one of their children and the traumatizing effects it's had on the other children, including a 2-year-old. What is your legal opinion of the behavior of a police officer under what was described? I wasn't there, didn't see it, but just as it was described.
Excuse me, Brenda. I feel very uncomfortable going in this direction. I know I wasn't sure where you're going to go because this is really not in line with where we're going, but I feel very uncomfortable in not having two sides of the party being addressed. I'm sure he doesn't know about all the issues, and
this is. Let's just assume this is hypothetical at this moment, please.
Okay.
Mr. Ishida,
don't go too far, please.
I won't go too far. Mr. Ishida, as a former prosecutor, what is your opinion of what was described here today?
I don't think it would be appropriate for me to offer any opinion without, without knowing what the facts were. All of the facts, both sides.
All right. What is your opinion on this council holding, not tonight, an executive session with the prosecuting attorney and also the chief of police so that we could hear your opinion and Jay's opinion and the police chief's opinion?
Again, it doesn't, whether it's an executive session or right now, without, sufficient factual background, it's difficult to, could you please be quiet because I'm trying to answer her question,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I would once again ask our audience that your time for speaking is up. I would ask that you respect our conversations now because it is our turn to discuss this issue. And as much as I know you're emotionally tied to these, we need to keep your comments to yourself at this point. Thank you very much.
Real quick.
Sure. See, I forgot where I was now.
Oh.
No, you asked about whether it would be appropriate for this council to convene an executive session with the prosecuting attorney and the chief of police.
And you.
And thank you. That's your prerogative. Obviously, if the council felt that the consensus of the council and you have the 6 votes to go into executive session, that it was necessary to explore those issues, certainly that's within your authority or right to ask that something like that be agendized. But your more pointed question at me was you were asking whether I had an opinion concerning the facts that were described today. You then said, instead of assume that it was a hypothetical, but even with the hypothetical, Ms. Ford, I think at this point it would not be fair to anyone, for me or anyone to render an opinion because, frankly, you're incapable. It's not possible to separate the hypothetical from what was heard tonight.
I accept that. I accept
I mean,
that. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's all I wanted to ask you. I just wanted to see sort of where you stood, if you could make a comment. So I'd like to go back to the the issue
Thank
at
you.
hand.